from Boulder, Colorado, and the police department. This is Boulder, Colorado, greatest liberal city in America, right? Boulder, Colorado. The police department there is now conducting an internal investigation after a video surfaced of a Boulder, Colorado cop questioning a black man who was picking up trash in front of his own residence. The officer has been placed on administrative leave until this is resolved. As you watch the video, if you do watch it as I did, you're waiting any moment the cop is going to shoot this black guy. On March 1st, here's the story. An officer approached the man as he was sitting in an area behind a private property sign, and the white cop asked the black guy sitting there, "Do you have permission to be there?" The newspaper there in Boulder reported that the man is a student at Naropa University in Boulder, and the building is listed as a school residence. I've been to the Naropa Institute. It started as a center for meditative studies, for esoteric subjects within which people could get a degree. It was unique in the education system in the United States in that regard. But I was there in 1982, so I don't know how it's changed. Anyway, the black man gave the cop his school identification card. And the man said he both worked and lived at the building in front of which he was sitting. But the cop continued to ask questions and then called for backup, quote, indicating that the person was uncooperative and unwilling to put down a blunt object, end quote. Now there's a video, 16-minute video of this whole thing, and it was taken by a friend and fellow building resident after this encounter with the white cop began. And the man who's being harassed can be seen holding a bucket and one of those little things you pick up trash with. You know, you squeeze it, you put it over a piece of trash and squeeze it, and it grabs the trash, you pick it up, put it in the bucket so you don't get your hands all fucked up, right? The man with the trash picker-upper says to the cop, "You're on my property with a gun in your hand threatening to shoot me because I'm picking up trash?" The man being questioned reportedly says of the officer, "He's got a gun," referring to the cop. Or he's referring to the cop. He knows his friend is video recording. The officer responds by saying, quote, "Just relax, man." And in the background you can hear sirens as cop cars approach and more officers arrive. All of a sudden there's 5 or 6 of these guys surrounding the man holding a bucket and a trash picker-upper. The police department in Boulder will not release the number of officers involved because there's an, ongoing investigation. But at one point, the man can be heard saying there are 8 officers, quote, "with guns drawn," end quote. The video appears to show, and I watched the video, appears to show at least one cop on the far left holding a gun, and then he puts it away. The police chief in Boulder rebutted these particular claims made in the video at a city the chief of police went to a city council meeting where the city council was pissed off about this. And the chief said, quote, "Body-worn camera video indicates that only one officer had a handgun out and it was pointed in the ground," end quote. Oh, well then I guess the black guy is perfectly safe. Only one cop out of 8 had his gun unholstered, and it was pointed at the ground. All right, black guy, what the fuck's your problem? What are you worried about? The man who was stopped by the police and the person who took the video both repeatedly say to the officers that the man with the bucket and the trash picker up there lives here, and he's only picking up garbage. The guy picking up garbage and the guy taking the video, they both say the same thing. An officer can be heard assuring the man who is agitated by the encounter, agitated? See, I would have been dead by then. If I were that black man. Hell, if I were a white man with a bucket and a garbage picker upper, and I got hassled by 8 fucking cops, I'd probably be dead. But the black guy is agitated. And an officer can be heard saying, quote, "My plan is not to shoot you." My plan is not to shoot you. 8 cops, one of whom has his gun unholstered. The black guy's standing there, and you know what's going through the black guy's mind. It has to be. A couple of things. I'm only guessing. I'm not going to run because these motherfuckers may shoot me. I'm not going to put the bucket down because why the fuck should I? I'm on my own property, picking up trash. Finally, one of the officers says, quote, "We've decided we're going to end things at this point," end quote. Ooh, now that could be taken as very ominous, couldn't it? The Boulder Police Department release on this says, quote, "Officers ultimately determined that the man had a legal right to be on the property and returned the man's school identification card. All officers left the area and no further action was taken," end quote. Boulder Police spokeswoman Shannon Whatever said, quote, "We began looking into the incident on Friday, shortly after it occurred," it's last Friday, "and quickly made the decision that we needed to launch an internal affairs investigation. Our internal affairs investigation will include a review of all body camera video, interviews of everyone involved, which includes both officers and community members," the 2 black guys, "reports, and all other related information." So Boulder police are going to look at everything. And good on them. If this were Chicago police or pick a city, nah, fuck it. A spokeswoman for the Chicago police, in a prepared statement before the city council, said, in a statement, the spokesperson in a statement before the Boulder City Council, Jesus, Mike, said, quote, "This is an extremely concerning issue and the one we are taking very seriously," end quote. Members of the public who attended the hearing, I like this, carried signs and trash picker-uppers. The spokesman says, quote, "While it appears that the officers responding to the request for backup followed standard procedures, given the information they heard over the radio, all aspects of this incident, specifically the actions of the initial officer, are being investigated. I am not aware," he added, "of any information that the man did anything unlawful or wrong," end quote. Now, the president of Naropa University, one Charles Leaf, also spoke at this hearing in front of the Boulder City Council. And he said, quote, "I do not want to underestimate the amount of trauma that was experienced by our student who was the victim in this situation," end quote. He noted that he had spoken to the man's mother And, quote, she has made clear that her son is not interested in becoming a symbol for any issue that we have to deal with in this city, end quote. Mr. Leaf added, quote, the incident that impacted him is going to be one that's going to take him a long time to deal with. The city can't wait that long for us to talk about the broader issues that we have to address. Black guy picking up garbage, trash, whatever, out of his own yard. And this shit happens. Now, I'm surprised it happened in Boulder. We were in Boulder, Colorado 2 summers ago. That's where Kathy's dad lives in Denver. And her dad and stepmom and Kathy and me and Molly went up to Boulder for the day because I love that city. It's where the University of Colorado main campus is. Beautiful. It's a campus where you can sit out on the campus and there's the Rocky Mountains. I mean, it's just unreal. While we were there, and I think I mentioned this on a program that I might have done around that time, but while the 5 of us were there, because Boulder is where Kathy's stepmom grew up, while we are there, there is a demonstration in front of the Boulder County Courthouse. A bunch of right-wing Nazis are there exercising their right to free speech. And they are surrounded by a ratio of probably 5 to 1 of real freedom representing Americans who don't like to hear neo-Nazis and racists and Klansmen and people carrying Confederate flags shrieking their bullshit on the Boulder Square. So on the one hand, we saw that, and there are cops around to make sure that things didn't get out of hand. So on the one hand, we see that, and then today I read this about a black guy picking up trash off his own front yard, and the cops want to know if he has a right to be there? Why don't these fucking cops go ask the Nazis if they feel they have a right to be where they are or were, which they apparently do, and so does the black guy. Here's the difference. The Nazis don't get questioned. The black guy does. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.